Now, we all have that one comfort food that we just can't resist. But while most of us might reach for a bar of chocolate or a glass of wine after a tough day, our next guest prefers the taste of bricks.
Yeah, sounds extraordinary, doesn't it? Patrice Benjamin-Ramgoolam can eat around 6 tablespoons of brick every day after she got hooked on the chalky taste when she was just a teenager. Something she shared with us on the show 10 years ago.
Yeah, one day I just got a knife, poked the wall, and I tasted it. I liked it. It got bad to a point where any relative's house I would go to, I'll sneak in a toilet and start digging the wall. But at the time, it was funny. It didn't seem that abnormal to me when I was doing it. Basically, my body was calling for it. I'd be sitting down, my mouth will literally be dribbling, and I'll go to the wall. It's almost like, you know, someone who had a drug addiction, if you like.
And Patrice is joining us now alongside clinical psychologist Dr Elizabeth Shea. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning.
Patrice, you talked on the clip there about it being a kind of addiction. You had quite a hard upbringing, difficult upbringing before this started, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you know, both parents had split up. There was a decision that was made for me to stay with both grandparents.
Right.
You know, I love my parents very much.
Yeah.
But I think there was that confusion.
Okay.
And that built, like, some anxiety in me, depression from an early age.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then when did you first start eating bricks and what made you do it?
urge?
Yeah.
OK, so in a family conversation, my grandma had mentioned that my uncle and auntie, when they were children, they used to put their fingers in the wall and, you know, eat it.
Really?
But, you know, children do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what went through my mind to take it upon myself to try it, and then I ended up liking it and I couldn't really stop.
Do you remember that moment that you first tried it and thought, this isn't just strange, actually, this is quite tasty, I quite like the sensation?
You know, I've been doing it for so long, I can't remember the very first time, but, yeah, I just found it delicious, yeah.
And what is it necessarily about it? Can you describe what sensation you get from it, what it tastes like to you?
Yeah. Crispy, obviously.
Yeah?
It's like a chalky, sort of earthy taste. That's how I can describe it. In general, I quite like my food quite crispy.
Anyway,
So
the texture is something that you're sort of
It's the
drawn
texture,
to as well.
something about the texture.
I mean, we're looking at footage of you just picking brick off walls. I mean, is that something that you might do if you walk past the wall? I mean, it sounds like a peculiar question.
No, it's not peculiar, not at all. It's just the show I was on, for media purposes, they wanted me. It's often I go and I dig the walls that are in my house.
Right. So they're the walls that you like the flavour of.
It's quite
rather
damaged.
than walking past the wall and thinking, oh, that looks tasty.
No, but I do walk past, like, you know, like building sites. Yeah, sometimes.
And
you know, some people might find it very dusty, but I think, ooh.
You actually quite like it.
I've seen piles of sand before, and I've put.
I know there's some walls that taste good to you and some walls that don't.
Yeah, I think it's the old build walls that seem to have a different taste.
And did you actually end up buying your grandmother's house as well, so you could eat some of the wall?
End up, sorry?
Did you ate your grandmother's wall?
Yeah, so what it was, I used to hang out in the living room a lot after school. There's a room in the back, and it's like the whole wall was eaten. They thought it was wear and tear, because obviously I hadn't told anyone at this point that I was doing it.
Yeah, you were keeping it secret.
Yeah, I was keeping it secret.
Have you tried to stop? Have you sought any help for it?
Yeah, I've been counselling a few times. The GP gave me iron pills to sort of curb the iron tablets.
Okay.
Yeah, to curb the craving, but yeah, it didn't work.
Dr Elizabeth, it's a fascinating thing, this, pica. Is it, I mean, explain a little bit about what it is, what's driving this peculiar, bizarre craving?
Yeah.
And how dangerous is it?
Absolutely. So pica describes the eating of non-foods, essentially. And the word pica comes from the Latin name for magpie, which is a bird that collects
gathers
and
things around it,
and reportedly eats things that aren't food. So it's a medical diagnosis. It's classed as a feeding and eating disorder, which is really important in helping us understand it. And you asked, I think, about the risks.
Yeah.
It can be quite a risky behaviour, particularly if people are eating something that is potentially poisonous or something sharp or something that could cause you to choke, for example.
Like brick?
Yeah, yeah.
And Dr. Elizabeth, is it related to things that you're perhaps missing within your body, or is it normally identified with mental situations as well?
That's a really good question. And I don't think we really have all the answers yet.
Right.
But there are some clues if we look at the types of people that are generally affected by pica.
Right.
So certain groups, for example, pregnant women tend to have pica during pregnancy. That generally goes away. But those women often report cravings, sensory differences, so perhaps experiencing tastes and smells and textures differently. Other groups that experience pica are autistic and neurodivergent people. And again, they have some sensory differences in how they experience the world. And people with a learning disability also. So all of those groups, the sensory feel, the smell, the taste, seems to be very important.
Yeah, and it's a grey area by the sound of it. It's like it could have many different factors.
Yeah, there might even be many different types of pica. We just really don't know yet.
Patrice, what do your friends and family make of this?
I don't know. I think they didn't seem too surprised.
Your husband's very supportive, though. He's found out, and he's sort of he's not made you feel strange about it necessarily.
He hasn't, but it does upset him very much.
Really?
Because he feels like it's not great for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's worried about your health. Would you like to be able to stop if you could?
Yeah, I mean, I've cut back. I know it's been 10 years, but I have cut back a significant amount.
So how much are you eating now, do you think?
It's like three times a week.
You'll have a little nibble 3 times a week?
Yes.
Do you ever take it in your bag with you, just in case you get afraid?
Only if I'm, like, really far away from home. Right. Otherwise, if I know I'm going back home, you know, I got my stash.
Wow.
It's fascinating.
It is. And in all the different treatment you've had, have you made any massive breakthroughs where you've associated it with anything else?
No, really. No.
Interesting.
Well, thank you for coming in and seeing us again after 10 years.
Yeah,
no, it's a pleasure.
You look amazing, by the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And Dr. Liz, thanks for coming in and explaining a little bit about what pica is and the name pica. We were fascinated by that.
We were.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.